So, yesterday, the Justice Department said that it would not rule out pursuing criminal charges against President Trump for his possible role in encouraging the violence and the ransacking of the US Capitol building. Michael Sherwin, the US Attorney in Washington, said at a press conference, "We are looking at all actors, not only the people who went into the building." Trump, who supposedly had been against releasing any kind of statement in regards to the MAGA riots at the US Capitol, agreed to the Thursday night video statement after White House counsel Pat Cipollone warned him of the legal risk. This is my point-by-point opinion in response to each statement that Trump makes.
I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack on the United States Capitol. Like all Americans, I am outraged by the violence, lawlessness, and mayhem.
This opening line beggars belief. Trump is the one who instigated the violence. He invited his supporters to a wild party, and with his guests, for example, like Giuliani calling for trial by combat, he whipped them up into a frenzy and told them to head to the US Capitol.
I immediately deployed the National Guard and federal law enforcement to secure the building and expel the intruders.
No, he didn't. There are multiple sources proving that he's lying here. The best one to go with is the one from Acting Secretary Miller. In his statement as to who he spoke in regards to activating the National Guard, Trump's name is conspicuously absent.
America is and must always be a nation of law and order.
Yeah, there's a little bit of hypocrisy here, basically instigating a riot and then claiming that you're the president of law and order. But let's move on.
The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. To those who engaged in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
Mindful that he might be subject to lawsuits for instigating this violence, Trump here is betraying his own supporters and is basically washing his hands of them. Many have expressed just their disgust at Trump. These are his supporters, particularly on Reddit, and I'll let their words speak for themselves.
We have just been through an intense election and emotions are high, but now tempers must be cooled and calm restored. We must get on with the business of America.
Trump is the one that has been proactively stoking the fires of divisiveness, basically portraying every Democrat as a Marxist-loving far-left radical. And that was the whole precise meaning behind him, calling his rally the Capitol Save America. It was to save America from basically becoming a Marxist, communist kind of state, is the fear-mongering that he's been spreading.
My campaign vigorously pursued every legal avenue to contest the election results. My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote. In so doing, I was fighting to defend American democracy.
So, let's look at this. 60 lawsuits were filed, and they were either dismissed or ruled against. It's interesting to note that the vast majority of the lawsuits filed, they did not mention voter fraud. The reason being is that it's not against the law to lie to the people. However, it is against the law to lie to the courts. And since they had no credible evidence that would stand up in court to support those claims, the overwhelming majority of the cases filed were to try and overturn the results of the lawful election on technicalities. In so doing, he's fighting to overthrow American democracy, not defeat it.
I continue to strongly believe that we must reform our election laws to verify the identity and eligibility of all voters and to ensure faith and confidence in all future elections.
So, this is about the only part of Trump's speech that I actually agree with. I have zero problem with stronger election laws that verify the identity and the eligibility of the voter. This kind of it's common sense, as long as it's done in a manner that the verification process does not record publicly who the individual voted for to prevent that kind of being used against them in the future.
Now Congress has certified the results. A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. My focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power. This moment calls for healing and reconciliation.
I don't know what to say here. I mean, this one, basically, I call pure bullshit on. For the past 11 weeks, since the election, Trump and his administration have been unnecessarily and exceedingly obstructive and uncooperative. Trying to sound like you're a nice cooperative guy now, with only 12 days left before Biden's inauguration, again, it's just absolute bullshit. There was nothing other than Trump himself preventing Trump from cooperating with Biden and his team should they win. Whilst at the same time, he could have been pursuing his own agenda and avenue of trying to overthrow the election and prove that it was fraudulent.
2020 has been a challenging time for our people. A menacing pandemic has upended the lives of our citizens, isolated millions in their homes, damaged our economy, and claimed countless lives. Defeating this pandemic and rebuilding the greatest economy on earth will require all of us working together. It will require a renewed emphasis on the civic values of patriotism, faith, charity, community, and family.
I mean, again, what's to be said here? These are all great values. You can't argue against those. But none of them were shown by either Trump or his family members. In a May 19th, actually, 2020 interview with Jeanine Pirro on Fox News, these are Eric Trump's words, echoing his father and downplaying the seriousness of the pandemic. They think they're taking away Donald Trump's greatest tool, which is to go into an arena and fill it with 50,000 people every time. Those numbers are to be disputed, but not here. You watch, Eric added. They will milk it every single day between now and November 3rd. And guess what? After November 3rd, coronavirus will magically all of a sudden go away and disappear, and everybody will be able to reopen. Hey, Eric, we now have 359,949 total COVID deaths in the USA. 3,844 died just yesterday. That's more than American combat casualties on D-Day, or more than the casualties at Pearl Harbor, or more than the casualties from the terrorist attack in 9/11. The numbers are increasing since November the 3rd, not decreasing. I mean, what can you say?
We must revitalize the sacred bonds of love and loyalty that bind us together as one national family.
I find it a pity that over the past 4 years, Trump has done the complete opposite. And with his inflammatory and partisan and kind of like, again, fear-mongering and hateful rhetoric, he has intentionally worked to break the bonds that bind us together as one national family.
To the citizens of our country, serving as your president has been the honor of my lifetime. And to all of my wonderful supporters, I know you are disappointed, but I also want you to know that our incredible journey is only just beginning.
Trump and his family, whether you like them or whether you don't like them, I don't think it can be argued against the fact that they've made a profound impact on American politics. And in my opinion, they will continue to do so for a long time to come. In fact, my next video will be covering this exact point in greater depth.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Well, that's Trump's message. Personally, I took it as a cringeworthy attempt to distance himself from the chaos and mayhem that he has created. And he's setting the stage to move forward in the direction that he and his family will take in regards to being major players on American politics. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoy the independent and non-partisan perspectives that I strive to present here at Plagued Politics. And if you do, please help support the channel through my Patreon page. To access it, click on the Plagued Politics logo under the video here. Doing so will take you to my YouTube homepage. From there, you can click on the link to my Patreon support page, and there are some neat rewards if you choose to support me. Doing so will help me improve the quality of my content. The equipment, you can probably tell I'm in need of a microphone, professional one, as well as the software, and to be able to dedicate the considerable amount of time and other resources that are needed to create these videos. And please, leave a comment or a criticism down below. It is my genuine goal to try and respond to each and every one of them when possible. Thank you so much for watching and also for supporting.